It was June of 2023.
Well, you look for that. I want to say...
I got it here. Hold on.
You have it here.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. Again, we're treading water. We never do that.
It's just weird, and I had to bring this up because I wrote this down. Here's my dream. And Chris Quimby was our manager at the time, even though what I'm describing here, BlackRock, predates her. It doesn't really matter because it's a dream. Mm-hmm. It's 4 a.m. at WCBS, and we're preparing the morning newscast. The scene is BlackRock. The overnight anchor is toiling away. The newsroom is unusually busy with faces we don't know. Chris Quimby is there looking sullen. The systems aren't working. Suddenly, I hear a collective groan as 4 men at each big 16th floor newsroom window pull black curtains across the glass. I look to the studio, the lights are turned out, and the board is dark. WCBS is no more. I stand there in shock. Martin Untroib, sees my face, walks over and hugs me. My first impulse is to quietly smile. Yes, severance! Then I think of all the people losing jobs. Then the emotion hits me. I hold back tears as I look at the spot where the teletype machines were years ago, and I think of my first time there in 1978 when Dad drove me in for a tour.
Yeah.
I tell Martin the story about how Ben Farnsworth was in the studio that morning subbing for Jim Donnelly. This part is true. This really happened. The memories of that visit with Dad, those years in that same spot, the thread that has been woven through my life, makes me realize how much a part of me this has been. Sad only scratches the surface. But grateful, too, Paul. Exceedingly grateful. Not only to have worked with you.
Thank you.
And all the people here at WCBS and the amazing listeners, but to have the opportunity to sit here with you right now and talk about it and have a farewell, which is not something that very often happens in this business.
As I said earlier, I don't think we would be doing this without your work and the archives that you have kept for WCBS. Some of them hilarious, like the 14-year-old when they mentioned the snowing in New Jersey, the report that you had called in, and you recorded it, and you're yelling in the background, I got it on tape.
I was so proud.
I think this many people who have worked here have the memory of hearing WCBS as a child. And the memory that I have was that the station sounded important.
Yes.
More than any other station on the dial.
WOR sounded official but stuffy.
Well,
this station was important but friendly.
You can sound official and you can sound important. And WCBS, I think, chose the right way.
WCBS 880 Magazine.
Lead is harmful to your child's health. Most children exposed to lead have no symptoms. The good news is that a simple blood test can determine if your child has been exposed to lead. Schedule your child's blood lead test at age 12 months and again at 24 months. For more information, visit caloptima.org or call 1-888-587-8088. That's 1-888-587-8088. This message is sponsored by Cal Optima Health. Your health is everything to us.
Does it feel like you have to choose between paying your rent or buying healthy groceries? You don't have to. CalFresh is here to help you pay for groceries every month. You may be eligible to receive up to $939 per month for a family of 4, or up to $281 per month for an individual. Let us pay for your groceries so you can pay for everything else. Call 1-800-281-9799 or visit gocalfresh.org now to apply.
Time for WCBS traffic and weather together.
That overturned car is still there on the Southern State moving westbound right around the Meadowbrook State Parkway. You're jammed up from around New Bridge Road. Jerusalem Road would be a good choice. As we move to Queens on the southbound Cross Island at 160th Street, all lanes are subject to closure. With a crash in the Bronx, a 2-car hit on the westbound Cross Bronx before the Grand Concourse. Once you get to the George, you've got a good ride. Coming inbound on the George, 20 minutes. Moving to Westchester, you've got a truck hitting the bridge on the northbound Hutch at King Street, and that's causing problems with delays. At least one lane is getting by. And also on the Hutch moving southbound in White Plains, right before North Street, a crash takes a lane of traffic. And New Jersey Transit is offering free rides on all modes of transportation starting tomorrow, Monday, and going all the way through September the 2nd as a thank you. I'm Susan Browning in the WCBS Traffic Center.
Most places are going to be dry here as we head through the evening. Pretty nice evening across the Tri-State area. And for tomorrow, partly sunny, warm, maybe an afternoon or evening thunderstorm. Certainly that's probably more widespread across Connecticut. Tomorrow 85, then mostly clear tomorrow night down to 69. Very warm Tuesday up to 88. And hot and steamy Wednesday. A thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening up to 93. And not as hot for Thursday.
With Chime's Secure Credit Card, you can start improving your credit scores with everyday purchases and regular on-time payments. Get started at Chime.com/build. The Chime Credit Builder Visa Credit Card is issued by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Results may vary. See Chime.com for details. Terms and conditions apply. Go to Chime.com/disclosures for details.
Cheers to lunches with friends. So how's your mom doing? Oh, much better now. She's in a program called PACE at Cal Optima Health. She goes to a beautiful center filled with friends, activities, and exercise. There's on-site medical care with home visits, and healthy meals are included. Transportation, too.
Wow, I didn't know that existed.
My mom loves it. Keeps her active and living at home.
Another cheers to that.
To learn more, call Cal Optima Health PACE at 1-844-999-7223.
Empower a child to gain independence or help someone with chronic pain rejoin daily activities. You can do this and more when you study to be an occupational therapist at West Coast University. Get started at westcoastuniversity.edu. WCU cannot guarantee employment.
WCBS 880 will cease operations on Monday. It has been an honor to deliver your news, weather, and traffic, and to be a part of your lives for nearly 6 decades. Beginning Monday, we invite you to turn to 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes. We'll give you the world.
When you need to know why, when it matters most. This is WCBS 880 News. You're listening to WCBS 880 Magazine.
So we've seen a couple of articles recently that jorts, jeans cut off just above the knees, have become hip again this summer. Well, after seeing that, we just had to check in with Dr. Fashion, Andrew Bernstein, Associate Professor of Fashion Marketing and Management at Lynn University in Boca Raton, Florida. Dr. Fashion, good to talk to you again. Is this true? Are jorts actually in now?
Guess what, Michael? Jorts are here, and they're probably here to stay.
Really?
I mean, we're going from uncool to trendy. And jorts were once considered unfashionable and associated with a dad style. Remember those sort of dad jeans back in the 60s and 70s, right. Kind of the aesthetic, and having made a surprising comeback this summer. The styles evolved from a symbol of tackiness, to embodiment of the carefree brat summer movement. Remember that brat summer movement that everybody was kind of doing this last year or so? And they're gaining traction on runways, pop culture, social media, couture, ready to wear, everybody, guys, girls, unisex. It's all about this kind of trend. And, we can rhyme it. We can say shorts. We can say jorts. Some people say snorts, whatever you want to say. Jeans are back, but they are shorter. One or two things, Michael, is really interesting. And thinking about this, one of the reasons that they're so popular, jeans are denim, they're kind of sturdy. But guess what? Unlike pants and trousers and culottes, certainly for a woman and a guy, you can stick your cell phone in the back and you don't have to worry about falling it off, and you can find it. And that's certainly a great trend for people carrying their phones and having pockets. So that's one of the big things that we see. Also, sustainability is so important as well.
Why? I mean, I guess you mentioned one thing, not the better pocket to keep your phone in, but why do you think they're back? What brought them back?
Well, I think one of the reasons for a big comeback is really the reemergence of Y2K. Remember that?
Sure.
The trend was particularly popular among Gen Z. Remember Gen Z, Gen Airs, they're really leading this trend for fashion, social media. And they are embracing the nostalgia of the early 1990s, including low-rise jeans and other denim staples like jorts. So they're the ones making it popular. Remember, they're easy to get into and whatever. And remember, too, Michael, everybody with those stonewashed jeans, and you see maybe even your kids with the jeans with all the cuts and holes.
Sure.
You know what a lot of people are doing now? They're just taking the scissors, cutting off that lower leg, and guess what you have? Repeat with me.
Well,
shorts.
I was going to ask you, is it okay to do that, or do you have to stick with the...
Don't it always seem to go, but you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Oh, boy. It's Wayne Cabot as we say goodbye. This is it. We're just minutes away. And I want to take these last few minutes to be quiet, which is something Paul Murnane has wished for a very long time. Paul, you will get your wish for the next few minutes as I play the sounds of WCBS through the years. You ready? 1960s, the headline sound. CBS Network Alert. 1970s, the chopper. Headline stories. WCBS Bulletin. WCBS Special. News 88 Business. News 88 Update. Here's everyone's favorite. We never should have stopped playing these. We should have kept paying Steve Carman as much as he wanted. Everyone remembers and loves News Is. From the guy who composed so many great themes, we'll start with the real big one. Yeah, he was the guy behind I Love New York. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all. Sooner or later, you'll own Generals. Trust the Midas touch. And have you ever heard the jingle, Nationwide is on your side? And here's what my friend, Steve Carman, did for us. 1979.
Lead is harmful to your child's health. Most children exposed to lead have no symptoms. The good news is that a simple blood test can determine if your child has been exposed to lead. Schedule your child's blood lead test at age 12 months and again at 24 months. For more information, visit caloptima.org or call 1-888-587-8088. That's 1-888-587-8088. This message is sponsored by Cal Optima Health. Your health is everything to us.
Does it feel like you have to choose between paying your rent or buying healthy groceries? You don't have to. CalFresh is here to help you pay for groceries every month. You may be eligible to receive up to $939 per month for a family of 4, or up to $281 per month for an individual. Let us pay for your groceries so you can pay for everything else. Call 1-800-281-9799 or visit gocalfresh.org now to apply.
The More Bang Less Buck menu at Carl's Jr. feeds your inner thrifty beast. 4 burgers and a lot more, all under $4. Like the juicy charbroiled Cali Jr. and the spicy chicken sandwich you just gotta have. Because you're financially responsible, die-hard burger lover deserves to save. The Carl's Jr. More Bang Less Buck menu, all under $4. Take that, inflation. Your burger rich. Big burger.
Good burger.
Limited time. Participation may vary. Tax not included. See restaurant for details.
Six Flags Hurricane Harbor's biggest sale of the year is finally here. Save up to 70% on daily tickets, 2025 season passes, and more. Make a splash now through Labor Day with our lowest prices of the season and go all out. Visit sixflags.com to buy now.
Cheers.
To lunches with friends.
So how's your mom doing?
Oh, much better now. She's in a program called PACE at Cal Optima Health. She goes to a beautiful center filled with friends, activities, and exercise. There's on-site medical care with home visits, and healthy meals are included. Transportation, too.
Wow, I didn't know that existed.
My mom loves it. Keeps her active and living at home.
Another cheers to that.
To learn more, call Cal Optima Health PACE at 1-844-999-7223.
Aspire. Through the College of Professional and Continuing Education at California State University, Long Beach. This fall's classes will be offered through online, hybrid, or face-to-face instruction. Enrollment is on now. Choose from hundreds of quality educational choices, all designed to transform your career. Earn your professional designation in global logistics. Accelerate your career with professional development in biomanufacturing sciences and applications. Earn your certificate in programs like human resources management, paralegal studies, and cybersecurity, or receive training to become an emergency medical technician or clinical medical assistant. The College of Professional and Continuing Education at California State University, Long Beach is open to all working and non-working adults. In fact, most programs allow you to earn your certificate for added resume power. So visit cpace.csulb.edu today.
The 2000s, this just in. Network rejoin.
Live from the CBS Hudson Square Broadcast Center in Manhattan, we are News Radio. WCBS HD and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Traffic time.
This just in to the WCBS Newsroom.
Now, CBS Top of the Hour, 60s to today.
This program for a CBS Radio Net Alert Bulletin.
The Chirp. CBS Radio Special Report. CBS Radio Sports.
This is Win Elliott for CBS Radio Sports Central USA. Every referee signal on a playing field has a special meaning, and now on CBS Radio, we've got a new set of signals that means great listening on this station. Our sports signature sounds like this. It means My Sports Central USA.
This is Douglas Edwards. CBS News on the Hour is the sound of news in the making, and this sound introduces our comprehensive news coverage. Distinctively CBS Radio, signaling CBS News. Listen for the signature. And you'll be listening to CBS News on CBS Radio, where what you want to know comes first.
Good morning. This is Steve Porter welcoming you to WCBS News Radio 88. Good morning. This is Charles Osgood, News Radio 88.
Tune to the best news source around, WCBS News Radio 88. Local and regional developments coming right up. This is Bill Fayen. It's 5 minutes past 4 o'clock.
Temperature 34 degrees, the winds east-southeast at 10 to 18 miles per hour.
You know him, don't you? That's Bob Harris.
Do you know me? Many people in the West Village.
News 88 WCBS in New York, 27th of November, a Monday, 36 degrees, 5:30.
The news on us, headlines. A lot of snow on us today. Season's first snarls traffic.
4 tones will follow. The final loudest one marks the exact time.
We've been marking time for a lifetime, and now it's over.
It's midnight.
The power of that amazing signal there, 50,000 watts pulsating out, will continue as these names go away. We take these last minutes to celebrate our relationship, yours and mine, and Paul's, and Bridget's, and Michael, and Steve, and Tanya, and Levon, and on, to Pat's, Parson, Farnack, Carol, Jeff Kaplan, Deborah Rodriguez, Gary Moore, Ben Farnsworth, Jim Donnelly, Lou Adler, Charles Osgood, Steve Porter, Harvey Hauptman, Rita Sands, Tom Franklin, Bill Fayen, Bob Glenn, John Wydra, Palmer Payne, Alan Shaw, Ralph Howard, Greg Baker, Bob Gibson, Jack Welby, Harley Carnes, Therese Crowley, Vicki Allen, John Metaxas, Jim Taylor, John Miller, John Lesher, Joe Avalar, Anita Bonita, Kathy Carpin, B.J. Fennell, I remember you, B.J., Mitch Levy, nicest guy in the world, Mike Sugarman, Janice Wright, Steve Knight, Karen Riegel, Mary Alice Williams, Ed Crane, Maria Garcia, Cameron Swayze, Bud Mishkin, Suzanne Colucci, Ashok Bala, Bill Whitney, Dick Reeves, Rich Lamb, Peter Haskell, Marla Diamond, Sean Adams, Fran Schneido, Alex Silverman, Ellen Mitchell, Sophia Hall, Mac Rosenberg, Mike Zirinax, Bob Vosberg, Jeff Grant, Lisa Fantino, Frank Cipolla, Doug Spiro, Darlene Pomales, Linda Zoman, Steve Malave, Mike Smeltz, Sean Coulthard, a.k.a. Michael Cole, Catherine Chaffee, Bob Brown, Eric Scott, Gordon Deal, Kelly Waldron, Jim Incendio, Jerry Knackman, Jane Tillman Irving, Mary Gay Taylor, Fred Fishkin, Walt Wheeler, Ed Bradley, Tim Sheld, and the renowned reporters for whom awards are named and still handed out. Art Athens, Steve Flanders, Edward R. Murrow, Lou Timolot, Tom Salat, Terry Raskin, Joe Nolan, Chris Majette, Jim Feldman, Andre Farrow, Tom O'Hanlon, Russ Meyer, Lori Jordan, Lou Adams, Debbie Mazzella, Neil Bush, Tom Kaminsky, Dr. Just Plain Bob Harris, Norm MacDonald, Bill Corbell, Gordon Barnes, Todd Glickman, Craig Allen, Brad Heller, Jared Max, Gordon Damer, Kevin Burkhart, Kevin Connors, Bill Daughtry, Bill Schweitzer, Rich Ackerman, Howie Carpin, Tommy Ty, Todd Ant, Gary Stanley, Howard Cannon, Spencer Ross, Barry Landers, Howie Rose, Len Berman, Pat Summerall, Ed Ingalls, Gordon Williams, Ray Hoffman, Dean Shepard, Ken Pruitt, Joe Connolly, the CBS Radio Network and its legions of correspondents, reporters, anchors, and commentators. Harry Reisner, Dan Rather, Walter Cronkite. The Osgood File. Now, what I did there was probably a huge mistake, because these are the people just off the top of my head. If I forgot you, I didn't forget you. This is all just happening so fast. But a special nod to one man who was a producer, a writer, reporter, and anchor over the years, and who had and has CBS in his blood, who maintains the most thorough and loving website of WCBS News Radio. And that's a man I'm proud to call my friend, Don Swaim. And thanks to all of his contributors, most notably John Landers, on the WCBS News Radio 88 Appreciation site. Go to it. It's amazing. Now, if we had hours, not just minutes left, we would name all the people you've never heard on the air, except in the credits, supporting those of us on the air and supporting journalism. The legions of people behind the scenes writing, producing, engineering are an innumerable and invaluable part of our history. Wicked smart people showing up at all hours, weekends, Thanksgiving, Christmas, so that whenever you turned on 880, you were closer to your world. The WCBS passion and pride spilled into a sales force that revered these call letters and the CBS legacy every bit as much as you and I do. Advocates for our craft who showed advertisers how we, the audience, are smart, discerning, engaging, and caring. Caring. We have given our advertising dollars and our charitable dollars through so many hunger-thons, for example. You held us to a high standard and let us know when we didn't hit the mark. All of us here knew that our audience is engaged and smart, and we knew to treat our audience with the respect that a well-informed, well-educated news consumer deserves. That's right, deserves. Our news desert is getting bigger and drier. And just like we should get a second medical opinion, we need to seek out more and more varied news sources that we trust, because getting your information without the bias and brainwashing in one place has given way to a fight to stay informed. With each closing newspaper, radio newsroom, TV newsroom, magazine, and now even digital news operations, the country we love is diminished. So as we leave the news ecosystem after 57 years of all news and 100 years of service on New York radio, we implore you to find that next trusted source. Use it, support it, in word and deed. It is the most patriotic thing you can do, and the most satisfying. To paraphrase a CBS News legend, good night and good luck. You will ask, why does this radio station mean so much? Why is the reaction the way it is? And I really can't speak for others. I can speak for myself. My parents split when I was 11. We split Christmas, and when I was at Dad's house, he gave me a clock. And this one had a beam at the top that shined the time onto the ceiling. I wanted to make sure it was set correctly, so I went to the station I heard in the back of the car, WCBS, to make sure the time was exactly right. And I listened and listened, and before long, I became hooked as a 12, 13-year-old. When I was 14, my dad drove me to the radio station in New York City during morning rush hour traffic. And he introduced me to the place I'm now signing off in 2024. Ray Martell, here's your last request. Chris Olivero, Ben Meverek, Ivan Lee, our bosses pushed for and got the authority to let us have our goodbyes, to have a last show. That's something very rare. I thank them for that. And I thank my dad for driving me into New York City in 1978. Parents, you never know what impact these random acts of love and attention may have on your children. I'm Wayne Cabot, and for the final time, this is WCBS, New York.
Every single time we have a show. So all 4 hours of this show, commercial free, will be available wherever you do get your podcasts. We talked about why the Steelers at quarterback, no matter who they start, are screwed. We've talked about so far as well the biggest, boldest takes that will come true here in 2024. It's been a fun show so far. Hick at Night podcast, Night spelled N-I-T-E. That is where you are able to go find so far those first 2 hours. We will continue to add, to listen to your bold proclamations for this upcoming NFL season. The cutoff date is going to be 2 a.m. Eastern. That is the cutoff date. So between now and then, 2 hours, you have to get yourself on the record with your boldest NFL prediction that you think will come true in 2024. Before we get back to your thoughts here, I do want to react to Florida State losing to Georgia Tech. Even in an expanded playoff now, where one loss should not end your season. Here's why Florida State losing to Georgia Tech ended the Seminole season. They are not making the playoff. Here's why. What we saw on Saturday in Dublin was not an anomaly. It was not just classic first game jitters from a college football team. What we saw on Saturday was a massive oversight from the AP poll. The Seminoles were overranked. They were overrated coming into the season. They were not as good as the number 10 ranking suggested they would be. They were overhyped coming to the season, and what we saw and how they played, that is who they are. They're an average team. They're not a top 10 team in the country. They're not one of the best teams in the ACC. As the late, great Denny Green would say, they are who we thought they were. At least in this case, they are who we saw they were on Saturday. This team is nothing more than average. And we have seen these miscalculations by the AP poll year after year. There's a reason why in 19 out of the last 20 years, we have seen a preseason top 10 team finish the year unranked. The AP poll, whether it's hype, whether it's carryover from last year, whether in this case, honestly, I think part of it is sympathy for the Seminoles not making the playoff last year and trying to make up for it by giving them a high ranking this year, whatever it may be. The AP poll, I think, grossly overrated the Seminoles, and Florida State will become now, for the 20th time in 21 years, they will become a top 10 preseason team that finishes the year unranked. I hope you listen, by the way, on my YouTube channel, Ryan Hickey. If you haven't subscribed, check it out. I called this happening. Find it right there on the AP poll preseason reaction. Those are two teams that are in the top 10 will finish unranked. Florida State and also Michigan. Why I'm down on Florida State and why I'm not surprised with how this game went for the Seminoles. Number one, first and foremost, DJ Uiagalelei is who he is. He's an average quarterback. Some good, some bad, averages out to just, he's okay. He's not a playmaker. He's not a consistent game changer. The Seminoles downgraded at quarterback compared to what they had last year with Jordan Travis. And so it's tough to win 10, 11 games. It's tough to win the ACC. It's tough to make even a 12-team college football playoff when you have an average quarterback and not a lot of elite around him. That's also part of the problem here for Florida State. We look at some of their skill players. Like, who sticks out to you? Who scares you? Whether it's receiver, whether it's running back, they don't have a lot of threats. They don't have a lot of game breakers right now. Like, you look at last year for the Seminoles, you had Keon Coleman, game breaker. You had Johnny Wilson, walking mismatch at 6'7" as a receiver. Jordan Travis was really damn good till he got hurt. But even when he got hurt, look, it was ugly. It was very ugly offensively for the Seminoles. But why did they continue to win games? They did so in part because their defense last year was a top 20 scoring defense in the country. So even though the offense just hit the skids once Travis got hurt late in the year, they still won games because they had a stout defense that would keep teams out of the end zone. Well, you look at that defense and how they played against the Yellow Jackets, that defense was slashed on the ground. They gave up 190 rushing yards to Georgia Tech. That's an average of 5.3 yards per carry. Tech was running